everyone, it's Evangeline here at eTrailer, and today we are looking at the Inno Locker Watersport Carrier here on our 2017 Subaru Forester. So this is a great carrier for your kayak or your boards, especially if you paddle solo sometimes, but you also want the option to bring your friends' boards if you guys want to go out to the water or to the lake. Since this does have a lock, it's also good to keep everything secure, plus you don't need to use straps with this one. So this has a lock on the end and you get 2 keys to use with the lock. So you just put that in, rotate it, and then you can lift up on the end cap. That gives you access to your kayaks or your boat. Now, if you do have a Inno Aero crossbar, that's great because it's designed to work with that crossbar. But if you have other Aero crossbars that have T-track channels, this will work with those. Since this does come with 2 pieces, you can adjust it to as narrow or as wide as you need it to be. That frees up room for other accessories on your crossbars. As you can see, I have a bike rack on one side and then I have this water sport carrier on the other side. So the maximum this carrier can carry is a kayak or a canoe of different shapes and different sizes. This can also carry up to 3 short surfboards or 2 long paddle boards. This is made of durable metal and rubber, which helps hold your kayak or your board down. So like what I have here, I have a really small board, but you can see how this also comes tight enough or compact enough to strap down the board. This uses 2 straps, so you have a long strap as well as a short strap that goes around here, and it ratchets down with these knobs here on the end. That way you don't have to worry about cam buckle straps going around your kayaks or going around your boards. This is all you need. Now if you do have a kayak or a canoe, just because you don't need cam buckle straps for the middle of your boat, you still need your bow and stern straps for the front and the back of your boat. So just keep that in mind and stay safe when you're on the road. As for dimensions, since this is channel mounted, this does depend on where your crossbars are. So we'll take some measurements for the height this adds to your system. Here on our crossbar, this adds 3 inches from the top of the crossbar to the top of our mounting system right over here. Of course, this will depend on where your kayak or your boat is strapped down. So this is going to be the height it sits on if you just leave it on your crossbars. For the install process, you have 2 pieces you need to install. Since these are channel mounted kayak carriers, they go right into the T-tracks of your crossbar. I have Inno Aero bars right here. So first you need to take off the end cap on these bars in order to access that T-track. Now we have the straps. It depends on your crossbars as well as what you have on there already, where you're going to start with. So since I have a bike rack on my crossbars, we're going to mount our straps as well as our locking piece in the same end. So let's start with the straps. So for this crossbar, we have to push down the strips inside the crossbar before we can feed the strap piece through the channels. So just get those lined up and then push them through. So just bring them as far as you can get them comfortably. Now their distance apart will depend on what you're carrying and you can adjust them later. So I'll just leave them over here before I tighten down and then we'll go mount the other piece. So make sure this is facing the correct way, where you have your strap facing your other strap and your locking piece facing away from the vehicle. So just slide that through. This locking piece is what you need to line up first. So I have it a little bit towards the end of our crossbars because I want to make the most of our crossbar space, but it's up to you. Just make sure you get these both lined up first and then you tighten them down with the included hex wrench. Then you're going to align your piece with the strap. Now this can be moved back and forth according to how wide your kayak or your board is. So my board is about 21 inches wide at the widest point. So I'm gonna have to make sure there is at least 21 inches of space between our pieces, and then just make sure they're even with each other and then tighten them down. So now you're gonna attach your 2 pieces together. So here you have this loop, and this is just gonna fit into your strap. and then you tighten it down. If you need a little bit more length, you're gonna pull this lever right over here, and this is gonna give you all the length you need. So if you do have a larger kayak, you're gonna need it at probably its longest setting. Now, if you do have a board, which I'm gonna mount up, you don't need to pull it as far out since it's just gonna stick like that. So try to decrease that length by rotating these knobs. And with the straps up, we're ready to load our board. So if you do have a kayak, you can have it facing downwards and just slide it through. You can also pick up the board support pads from Inno if you want a little bit of padding between your board or your kayak and your crossbars. And then once you have your kayak and your board in place, you can then tighten it down. Now just tighten this down until these straps are secure around your board or your kayak. This can accommodate 1 or 2 boards as well as larger or smaller kayaks. As you can see here, I have a really small surfboard, so you may have to push the straps or the pieces out further away from each other just to get a nice secure fit. But for here, if you do have 2 of the boards, you can have them closer together and they'll still secure it, no problem. Once everything is secured, you can then just put these end caps back into place. You may need to use a little bit of extra force, then use the included keys to lock them, and that's it for the install. My final thoughts about this carrier is I do like how everything is included. You have a locking system, you have straps, you also have the ability to make it larger or smaller depending on how many boards or how large of a kayak you're carrying. I think it really works well as a versatile carrier. Now this does depend on the crossbars you have. Since this is channel mounted, you have to make sure you have those channels in your crossbars. So if you don't have those channels, you're gonna need to look for something that clamps around them. But for how it works here on our Subaru Forester, as you can see, I can carry both my board and my bike rack because of all that crossbar space. And that was a look at our Inno Locker Watersport Carrier for boards and kayaks here on our 2017 Subaru Forester. My name is Evangeline, and I hope you enjoyed the journey.